So a while back I made a video about Serbian war music, and that meme is usually what people in the West think of Serbia, if they ever think of Serbia, and, well, I didn't know much about modern-day Serbia. Thankfully a Serb bro decided to invite me round, and I checked out the country. One of the nice things is that it's a lovely place, but thanks to the West, it is also inhabited with endless numbers of migrants passing through on their way to Western Europe. I decided to do a weekend away trip, so by the time I arrived I was completely sleep deprived, and when we headed up to the northern town of Subotica, played some bangers in the car. But pretty quickly upon arriving in Subotica, you notice the New Europeans, as they're called, walking around all over the place, as this is the town right on the border with Hungary.
Are those New Europeans? They look like workers.
No, those are workers.
No, these are the Europeans.
These are the New Europeans. They're coming from the camp to the main bus station. And on the main bus station there are taxi drivers or just drivers that will take them across to the border. But there are no migrants now, but they stay around here. There is a motel here if you want to stay with the migrants. No? No?
I've been sexually harassed enough.
Okay. Also, they are the typical Serbs waiting for the bus to take them to
Yeah. You know, they're gonna go to work.
Yeah, they go to work.
Where else would you go to work? Oh, блядь. There was a migrant hotel, the hotel was just used for migrants, but they put it right next to a secondary school. So all the secondary school girls started getting sexually harassed?
Yeah, they don't do that here.
Okay. If they did that to Serbian girls?
It would be explained to them that that's not a proper thing to do in Serbia. They're not gentle when they push them back in, so they come with scratch marks on their legs, broken legs, dog bites, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, don't try and break into a place.
Yeah, it never happened to me when I tried to cross the border for some reason. I go out and show my passport, they put a stamp.
No dog bites me. It's
amazing. No, it never happened to me. It's amazing.
But the thing is,
I think it's racism.
Upon arriving at my friend's place, we decided to order some Serbian barbecue. I got ridiculed for not eating enough Afghan food in the Afghan video, so just for you folks. Although this time round I think there was less chance of food poisoning. It was lovely. This was 15 euros.
About.
It's good. Okay, so I couldn't bring the Freddos to Serbia because I didn't find any in time, unfortunately. But I did do my duty as an Englishman and bring shit tons of Cadbury's. So I suppose this is Serbs react to Cadbury's chocolate.
So it's kind of poison.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know. As soon as we had finished the food, we headed out and checked out the town, which is about as Balkans as the Balkans is, between the Austro-Hungarian town hall and buildings like that, and then the communist-era apartment blocks, which are less beautiful, to say the least. So all of these are 60s communist.
Well, some are 60s, some are 70s. This one is 60s.
Was this good housing back in the day?
Oh yeah. It still is.
Yeah.
It's old.
It's ugly, but...
It's ugly, but it depends. As long as you insulate the windows well, it's okay. The elevators work.
I've seen the elevators working, can confirm. So you're going to show me the wonders of the communist lifts. So we open it. I'll be honest, it doesn't look safe.
It is. It's much safer. There are fewer things to break.
I don't like the... There's like little fucking doors.
Yeah, if you open them, it will stop.
All physical buttons. That's actually quite nice, I like that.
No memory, so if you press...
What?
See, no memory.
Cleaner than my lift back in my apartment, I'll be honest.
So it's about 70 years old. Those were simple lifts made after the war. But you can close it, since if you leave it like this, no one else will be able to use it.
Oh no, it's the fucking Yankees.
They're bringing hot dogs and hamburgers.
It's not that bad.
Oh, better that than bombs. Swiss Spartak. Everyone for Spartak. That's a local football team.
So your football hooligans vandalise each other's buildings?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to mention at some point that you're a giant.
Why?
Because otherwise the footage is gonna look a bit weird. Like I'm barely in frame and then it's just you looking normal. So, Ivan was explaining to me that apparently you do this for people who die.
Yeah, so their friends or relatives can know and they can come to the funeral. Many people do not use Facebook, but it's more of a tradition. It has been going on for as long as I know.
So what was this?
This is the town hall.
So this is where you have your council meetings, or?
Yeah, and weddings.
So you have your weddings in a town hall rather than a church?
Some people have it in a church, some in the town hall. When communists came, they started pushing for marriages to become a worldly affair, not a godly affair. So they moved from the church to the city hall.
And then, of course, there's the modern era Western architecture and institutions that have turned up, which somehow managed to look amazing in the East, even if they're disgustingly ugly in the West. McDonald's.
Yep.
You're like, beautiful building architecture, and I'm like, Westernism.
Yeah.
Holy crap, what is... Jesus. McDonald's return to tradition style. Like it's wood. They have seats?
You don't have seats?
Not like this. That's like positively fancy.
Yes, this is a fancy place to eat.
That's a McDonald's. That's amazing. You don't know what you have. Nothing classical architecture ever looked bad.
It would be nice if the inside was actually renovated. This has been going on since the early thousands, the 2000s.
Time for ideas.
Yeah, I know, bad marketing, very bad marketing.
Can't believe Serbia would do this. Canister for 80 pence. Star of Pramen for 60.
Half a liter.
Half a litre for, what is that, like, that's 47 pence?
It's half a euro. What, you don't have that?
No wonder you're drunk all the time. I've always heard that Hungarian architecture is incredibly beautiful, as the Hungarians value things looking good, and I'm glad to say it's not just Hungary. You can also see it in places in Serbia. There is also the influence of the Chinese CCP that have turned up, most notably in one store in Subotica I saw, selling everything from cheap tat to cheap tat. The relationship and reasons for that being there is entirely around Kosovo, I was told, which is that the Chinese, along with the Russians, help veto Kosovo's membership into the UN, and in return, Serbia has a very cozy relationship with them. One thing I also noticed is that you will find endless statues to this or that hero and Serbian flags pretty much everywhere. Occasionally, some graffiti depicting a war criminal, which, to be honest, is just kind of charming. One of the things I did find strange, which really is quite worrying, is that in the East, specifically my time in Serbia, I noticed that political thought seems to be far more free than in the West. For example, I went to the local bookstore and happened to find that the newest copy of Mein Kampf was out, as in the new design, alongside the suffragette merch and every other kind of thought that you could find in there related to politics. It seems to be the case, and was explained to me, that banning such things is weird and stupid, because the only concerns of political correctness are around the dear leader, and this seems to be the same within much of the East. But as a nice result, it means if you don't actually represent any serious threat to the state, then you can buy whatever you want.
They spent billions trying to make him look human. Millions. A lot of people in marketing try to make him look statesman-like. You can see how much they succeeded.
I will admit, your joke is right. You know, peace, stability, pussy lips. I did want to have some fun in Subotica, and we found a place that was like a kebab shop and apparently ran a hotel out the back. Fast food the best. Not the best fast food, but fast food the best. Tried to stay there because I thought it'd be hilarious just to see what it was like. Unfortunately, they were booked up due to popular demand. Amazing. So, had to go somewhere else, paid 40 euros for the night. Lovely place. Only one room left though, for a Westerner like me in Eastern Europe. Room 101. Much better than I thought it was. Serbian breakfast is a bit weird though. A lot of hot dogs. Also tuna mayo for breakfast. Went to the breakfast in the bed and breakfast. The whole place was filled with 12-year-old girls and boys. Not a single adult. Anyway, when they're done eating their breakfast, I'm sure they can always go gambling. So I'll be honest, the bed and breakfast is breakfast. Lovely that they laid all that out, but not for me. So I'm gonna go and check out the finest McDonald's in all the world, see if they're open, in Subotica. To be honest, the radio sucks, but let's try the food. That's what I call a burger. Later on, we decided to go to the flea market and check out what was being sold, and it was quite nice to see a lot of the old antiques of the Yugoslav era, and I brought quite a few, including Yugoslav era patches, endless communist pins you could find, extremely hyperinflated currency from the Yugoslav era, not to mention some military equipment from the Yugoslav army that just lies about, and apparently you can bring back on a plane if you ask nicely. Very nice of them. And we needed it because we were then going to go up to the border, where all the migrants had been, and where there have been quite a few problems. Okay guys, we're here with CNN. We've heard that there's bullets going off all around, so I got a helmet, gonna make safe. Just don't want to get shot. CNN reporting in, guys. Jokes aside, there is actually quite a lot of violence in relation to the border. Primarily, I'm told, between people smugglers and the gangs fighting between them. So, just before we arrived, for example, the violence had escalated to the point that they were now shooting each other. So you had Pakistani people smuggling gangs and Afghani people smuggling gangs who were killing each other over turf to smuggle people into Europe. Because it's just that profitable, apparently. So this is Hungary. And then the Hungarians built this. Alright guys, very good, but I need to get some free money, so property damage is a criminal offence. Yeah. This is private property. No, very based.
It's not property, it's just property.
Yeah, yeah. But it's that idea of like, this is my house.
Yeah.
You know?
And they have a road to drive, see two rows of fences, and they have a road to ride in, the border guards. And the electric fence, want to touch it?
No. It just goes and goes and goes, I guess. So when Tucker Carlson came to Europe to show off that the Hungarians do this, he went to the Hungarian side and there was like a fence and then a door. And so whilst he was there, they caught someone. And they picked him up and went, okay, opened up the fence and went, fuck off, and just walked back. And the Americans are so impressed by that, because if one gets into America, they can't just throw them back. They're not allowed to.
The thing is, they're still technically in Hungary when they throw him out. So if they're in Hungary, and when they throw him out, he's still in Hungary, but he can't go anywhere else.
Ah, so they walk back into Serbia voluntarily.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't throw him back in Serbia. They threw him back on the Hungarian soil, but he can't do. He chose to walk back to Serbia on his own.
So if they decided in the United States to build a fence and then left a couple of meters of American soil, they could just throw them back into the other side of America, close it and go. They've even got speakers.
You had to tell them to fuck off.
if they haven't got the message already.
No, they are calling them to mosque.
To be honest, that would be really funny. Like, if you were the guy running those, you would just one day, fuck it, just blast out the call to prayer. Because then they'd have to be in the middle of climbing and go, oh no, sorry, shit. Gotta pray. Or you could play all the mosques. Whoa.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to a place now where my understanding is that there were people smugglers who are Pakistanis and Afghanis who organise the people smuggling here.
Yes.
And they decided that, well, you're on my turf, and have started attacking each other with weapons. So they've started shooting each other, and some people were injured, or did they die?
On the July of 2nd of July this year, they were shooting from early morning, about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning until the 14 hours p.m. And one was dead when he brought to the hospital. 6 was injured. Among them, one 16-year-old Iranian girl. I don't know why Iranian, but the others were Afghanistan's, and some of them didn't have even paper. What happened to them after that, I don't know. What was with that girl, I don't know, but I know that one was dead. I was there on emergency unit in hospital when they called me to examine one of them. He had one injury of his jaw. So we heard also that sometimes shooting can be heard on that place. And we heard that is a group of Afghan people who organize that smuggling. They are not crossing the border. They organize. They are paid for that, and they are organizing crossing the border.
So am I correct in saying that we're as close as we're probably going to get to roughly about where the shooting took place?
Yes, I think, because
it's hard to know
in
specifically.
media wasn't specified where that was.
You had large groups of people coming out of these woods into the populated area because they were afraid they would get shot.
So how often does this happen? Is this becoming more common, or is
Yes.
this a one-off?
It's becoming more common. We had another shooting without only one person was injured. There was a shooting, and a lot of people just went out the woods and in the middle of the street, and they were scared because
Just to get away from the barbarism.
shooting, yeah. Those who were trying to go over the border, and the people that were supposed to smuggle them were fighting it out for supremacy.
So
I saw that one in hospital. He was shot in the leg. I examined him because some other problems, but I saw that he have a gun wound in his leg. There were also 2 other migrants, but I don't know why they are there. I suppose they are because of some shooting wound or something like that. And I was asking myself that shooting happened when one dead migrant was found here. Shooting started 5 or 6 in the morning. The intervention unit, police intervention unit, arrived about 2 o'clock p.m. What they were doing? Novi Sad is here. It's a highway. You can, for 1 hour, you be here. Okay, 1 hour for preparation, 2 hours. Where they were? Villagers heard shooting from early morning. Why didn't they come? And when they come, they stopped. And they waited. What? What they waited? You go there and you say, drop the weapons. Who doesn't drop the weapon is dead. And the end.
do you think it's because it's shootings amongst the people smugglers?
I don't
that
know.
it's the
I don't
attitude
know.
of
I don't know.
the trash is taking out itself, or
That is, if is that so, that is not correct. They are here to prevent any problem between people. Who is shooting, who is not important. Important is that they are shooting each other and they have to stop it. We don't know who is shooting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's villagers against migrants, maybe migrants between them, maybe villagers between themselves. We don't know. Police is here to prevent that.
One of the other funny things, as you were mentioning to me, that this is actually an old shooting range.
Yes.
So you had you and your guys back when you were in the army training here, and then some other guys down here changing the targets.
Yes.
And these days it's obviously not used for that.
Yeah. This
And instead you've got this area being used by migrants for a shooting range, except they're shooting each other.
Yes. That was told to us. That happened. We heard the stories that they are trafficking people, that they are smuggling people. We don't know. Nobody informs us.
But you can definitely see that there's huge numbers of people who shouldn't be here.
There is much more than it was before, about 1 year or so. And they are just coming.
And they're not staying in Serbia.
No, most of them doesn't want to stay here. And I saw personally that they are caught on the other side of the border. I was traveling along the border, but it's a nice road parallel in Hungary, parallel to the border. Hungarian police were arresting them. When I went to the Budapest. When I went back, I also saw that they are arresting them. So this is on a daily basis. Every day is happening.
It's here who get them to cross the border. Maybe they brought it. So
Yeah, it still smells. It's not water.
you want to drink?
The sand vodka.
Well, you opened it, so it's our shame to waste it.
I'm not that much of an alcoholic.
Okay, then we'll waste it.
We'll return it to the ground.
When it belongs.
Yeah, there we are. Goodbye, vodka. Serbia, the land where you literally walk in the wilderness and find bottles of unopened vodka lying around. Amazingly, every Serbian I spoke to around Srebrenica or in the rural places along the way when we were hanging out at the border told me the same thing, which is that we don't actually have any problems with migrants. And you might think they're insane considering the shootings, but the reality is the migrants apparently know not to mess with the Serbs. And if they did, they would very quickly be reminded as to why. On the other hand, when it comes to the Hungarians, they're actually trying to defend all of Europe from Western European leaders' stupid decisions, and have built a very significant border wall, electrified the fence, and have migrant hunters, as they're called, patrolling the border 24/7. We actually ran into a couple of these guys. We saw them go past us at one point. We unfortunately couldn't take photographs of them. They were very hostile to that sort of thing and wouldn't allow us to ask questions. But they got out of their car and they were stood around with AK-47s, wondering what we were doing there in case we were trying to cross. And there's a good reason that they've got the AKs, which is the violence between the people smugglers and the risk thereof of Hungarians getting involved necessitates it. When I was in Afghanistan, I asked a couple of guys who had made it to Europe why they did it. And they said, well, because Angela Merkel said to come. So for a lot of the average people, the reason they're even here is because of her. She said to come and, well, they came. Yes. Anyway, so we just saw a Hungarian border patrol. Apparently there's 500 new of them, and they're called migrant hunters. Is that correct?
Yes, it was published in our media.
Yeah, more police.
Police.
But the interesting thing about that is they weren't just police officers as you might expect. The guys got out and we did ask, could we ask you questions or film, and they said nope, it's forbidden. And the reason I wanted to especially was that the guy hanging about had an AK-47 on him, and that speaks to the kind of threat that's actually posed here. After checking out the border, we decided to go back into town, checked out the anti-fascism monument, checked out some of the best cakes I've ever eaten. Highly recommend wherever the hell we are. Darabosh. You heard it here first. I know this is becoming like an advertisement for come to Srebrenica, trust me. Yeah. Trust me, it's good. And ironically though, that is true. So we're here at the lake.
Yes.
You haven't actually told me what's special about the lake, except it is the lake.
It's the lake, look at it. It's green and stuff.
I think you did mention that the sewage used to leak in here. And
it still does, but now, look, Anna, that's not fish. Well, now it's no longer putrid water, but still...
You wouldn't drink it?
No, but you can swim in it now.
It's nice here.
Peaceful.
Oh, yeah. I don't see any new Europeans either.
Nope. No, they don't unfortunately, they do not know this is a tourist spot
Yet.
yet.
One day.
They think that all the tourist spots are in Europe. I mean, Germany, Sweden, England, France.
Yeah.
We are too poor for them. It's unfortunate they don't want to stay here.
Kind of racist of them, actually.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, we are their hosts here, and
And all they want to do is break into Hungary.
yeah,
Although I still can't get over when we were driving back after seeing the border, the razor wire, everything. And then that family, like the little kids.
yeah.
And your dad made the great point. It was like, they're really going to take their kids to that razor wire.
Well, they're in mortal danger, obviously.
Ivan, look! It's another bedding shop.
Yeah, there is one. I made a video about it. It's next to a school, the elementary school. So
There's a bedding shop next to the school.
yeah, it's illegal to build it there, but they built it anyway.
Ivan, look! It's another Admiral betting shop.
And there is one more at the corner there. There's the third one there.
Really?
Yeah.
It's almost like that's a bit of a problem almost.
No, it's fine.
Well, we got Slot Club. There you are. A bit of variance in your betting stores. So we got two on this street here for the locals. That's fair enough. Why wouldn't you have two betting shops?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've also got Mecca over here. No? So it's three. You might want. Then Slot Club. And then El Dorado something.
No, that's the exchange office.
Oh really?
Yes.
That's just the exchange office, so you can get your money to bet.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. And people might be thinking, well, to be fair, you go anywhere in England that's run down. So if you go anywhere in England these days, you will find usually one street with 3 or 4 betting stalls. Yeah, if you run out of money, you can pray to God.
This looks familiar.
Yeah. Another Admiral betting shop. So that's, what are we on, 5?
Probably.
5 on this street.
There is one
That's
more.
a few. Soccer betting shop,
Yes.
of course.
Exchange office next to it. Wait, what's that?
No, is it a store?
Yeah, it's a store.
Oh, we have a store.
Yes.
But don't worry, in case you go into the store for 5 minutes and feel a bit bored by being in a shop that doesn't steal your money, you can always just go next door to Mozart and go
There is
betting.
Meridian betting.
And then Meridian betting, of course. Oh, for fuck. Soccer betting shop. So we're on what, 12?
Yeah, there is one more there.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. That's a new one.
Anyway, so in this part of town, if you love betting, you want to go to Las Vegas, but you can't afford Las Vegas prices, come to Subotica and come to this street, that's for sure. And sadly, everywhere had sold out again for the hotels, so I had to stay in a really expensive €120 a night Western Standard hotel. Very sad. Terrible, I know. They didn't charge us for this because it was the only room they had, so they gave it to me for free. Balcony. A lovely view of the church. Oh look, a betting shop. Just woke up. Gonna go get breakfast at this fancy ass hotel. See if it's better than hot dogs, I guess. Although apparently that is normal. That's perfectly fine to eat for breakfast here. I don't know what it is with the hot dogs. We're gonna go and see if they'll let us into the migrant camp just down the road. Try and talk to some of the Afghans or Pakistanis or whoever else is in there at the moment. All new Europeans, of course. And then we're going to head down to Belgrade. We were hoping originally to get all the way to Kosovo and check out what's down there, but we just don't have the time. I did ask as well what would we see in Kosovo, and it's uncertain, so we'll go down to Belgrade, see how the capital is, I guess, and see what else we can buy and see. Though this will be the last day in sunny Subotica. So I was asking Ivan, what does the graffiti say? And he said Progressive Party Center, which is the ruling party. I did not believe him. And then when we started reading the Cyrillic, it was like, oh wait, you're right. And it's the refugee place.
S, Srpska, N, Napredna.
Well, let's go visit the party, shall we? So, we found the migrant center. Ivan's taken me. This is where everyone's staying until they make it to Hungary or wherever else in Europe they want to go. Probably not Hungary. Commissariat for Refugees and Migration. not Progressive Party Center on this one, but this is the facilities. I can still see the sewage treatment plant in the distance there. And on the way up, we did actually see a guy emptying his sewage truck as well. So this is where everyone is. I must admit, whilst I was hanging out with the migrants, I did feel a little bit of nostalgia running into so many Afghans and trying to reuse some of my basic Pashto. But sadly, very few of them spoke English, and those who did, it was very limited. So the kind of questions I could get out of them were not really significant. Hello. Good. You? Da? You want? Where are you from?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
Okay.
Ah, Afghanistan in the bag. I was in Afghanistan 1 month ago.
1 month ago?
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah. I went.
Where's the Taliban Afghanistan?
We meet Taliban, interview them.
Where are you from?
UK. Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah. I learned little Pashto. You Pashto or Pashto?
Sangay.
The singer, yeah. Yeah, Zahayam. How are you?
Fine.
You want to get to Germany or
Oh, Germany.
Germany? London. Okay.
Britania.
Did you leave Afghanistan because of Taliban this year or before? Because of Taliban.
All police, askari, all police, askar. Afghanistan, askari, police. All soldiers.
Ah.
Soldier.
Afghan National Army.
National.
I wonder, did you have family still in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Do you talk to them still?
I'm problem Afghanistan family, no problem.
Okay.
Family.
I have problem, but my family doesn't have problem.
Okay. Where in Afghanistan are you from?
I'm from Kabul.
Kabul. Okay. I was in Kabul. We saw. Yeah, we went to the airport and Sharanu, that area we saw. The zoo in Kabul.
How about the people of Afghanistan?
Sorry?
How about the people of Afghanistan? How are
They seem fine. Food is bad. Some are scared of Taliban. The Taliban, they pass laws saying you must wear burqa, but the young Taliban do not enforce. So women still wear just hijab. Okay. Tashikor.
Okay, bye. See you.
Bye. You go to Germany or?
Germany, France, Germany, London.
Okay. How many people are here in this camp?
600.
600. Okay. Most Afghan or?
Afghan money.
All Afghan? Here? All Afghan.
This all Afghan.
Yeah. But this?
Syria, Pakistan,
Hindustan.
all countries.
Where are you from?
Morocco.
Morocco? Ah, salam alaikum. Why did you come to Serbia?
I want to go in the Italia.
You want to go to Italia? Is it okay to?
Problem or not problem?
No problem?
Huh?
No?
Problem.
Okay. You go Italia?
Yes.
Why Italy, not Germany or France?
I like Italia.
Okay. You come through Serbia and then go
Yes.
Hungary
Yes.
and Italy. Okay.
Hungary and Italia. Namsa Italia, inshallah.
Why did you leave Morocco?
What you?
Why go from Morocco?
Morocco not working good.
Okay.
Not working good.
Is bad money?
Money, small money.
Okay. Yeah. Understand.
Small money, working not good. 1 day work, 4 day, 3 day no work. Problem.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You speak English or no? No. Okay.
You're supposed to put your hand like.
That means you are sincere. When you say thank you, you always do it. When you say goodbye, same thing. It's Afghan. I don't know about Arabs. Where are you from?
I'm from Afghanistan.
Afghanistan? Tisinga.
Pashto, no, just English.
Ne Pashto. Okay.
No,
Okay.
just English.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know English, Pashto.
Are you
I am Persian.
Persian? Okay. Okay. Why did you come to Serbia?
So it is clear to all of them. Can't
Because-
see that because of the Taliban.
However, there was one guy who spoke really good English, and I did decide to ask him about why do Afghans go through Iran, Turkey, Greece, Macedonia, end up in Serbia? Why did they not stop at any point along that way? He took this as a fair question and told me as to why, which is that he would break in from Iran and Turkey, and so would the rest, because they fear that the Iranians and the Turkish will actually deport them back to Afghanistan and then into the hands of the Taliban, who they say they're running from. He didn't want me to show his face after we spoke, so I'll keep my word and not play the footage. However, he didn't actually explain as to why you had to keep breaking into countries from Greece, Macedonia, Serbia, then to Hungary or Croatia, and then to Italy or to Austria or to Germany or to France, and then to England. But they know the point, and the answer to that question fundamentally is because we are not stopping them. So we just left the migrant camp, and now we're back on the road, travelling off. Just some thoughts. It's obviously difficult to know who's meeting the threshold of a refugee and who's not, but the reality still remains the same, which is if you've left Afghanistan, let's take the best example, you're a police officer from Afghanistan, and some of those guys said they were, with the old government. The Taliban have threatened your life. You get to Iran or Pakistan, you should be safe. There's no, it's not like being in Afghanistan. Lots of people I know who were in Afghanistan, they wanted to go to Pakistan to get refuge. That was their idea of safe. Okay, and then you get to Turkey. You're in the second country now, you should be safe. If you're a legitimate refugee, you should be able to make precautions and get out, no problem. Some of them argued that, well, the Turkish, if they catch us, it's pretty corrupt. They may just send us back to Afghanistan and therefore my life would be in danger. You can take the argument. But then you get to Greece, you're in the EU, nothing corrupt is going to happen to you most likely. Then you get to Macedonia, then they're in Serbia now, and then they say they're going to go to Hungary, and then some of them wanted to taper off to Italy, most to Germany, some wanted to come to the UK. You've gone through quite a few layers now where you can sit and make your application and the area is not poor. I mean, even being in Serbia, I'm quite impressed with, someone when they think of Serbia from the UK, they would say it's a very poor country. On paper, yeah, but nothing here makes me think poverty. I just think, slightly less rich, which is fine. If you're a refugee, that's perfect, actually. A lot of them there, so there are guys in the city who get hotels, is my understanding. They are the richer ones, and the guys who are in that camp we went to, those are the guys who have got basically nothing. They live in tents, big groups, hang out all day, wait for their opportunity to do whatever. And this entire situation for Serbia is something that has been put upon them by our Western elites' demand for illegal aliens. I don't share this demand, but our elites do, and as a result, Serbia is being flooded with wave upon migrants, which don't want to be in Serbia. Serbia doesn't want to deal with them. And the other absurdity is that Serbia is perfectly fine and nice to them. In fact, every migrant I spoke to told me that the Serbs had treated them incredibly well, and they were perfectly happy to be there, no problems. They just want to pass along to Hungary and the rest of Europe, so neither one bothers each other either. But this doesn't make any sense, obviously. If you wanted to apply for asylum, you'd apply for it in a safe country, and Serbia is a safe country. Not that that's where these migrants came from, of course, nor any of Serbia's neighbours. Then we decided to head back on the road to get back to Belgrade. So we stopped off at a petrol station, just gonna get some water. Then I noticed that they have sausage rolls in Serbia. True mark of civilization. Although, of course, it is a hot dog in the sausage roll. I did want to go to Kosovo and check out the situation there. Unfortunately, didn't have time, so if there's any Serb bros who want to go sometime, hit me up, I guess. Otherwise, when we ended up in Belgrade, I did notice one thing for sure. Belgrade is far more Serb nationalist than the north, and it's quite charming. They have posters up that have the Russian and Serbian flag tied together, saying "together," because Serbians and Russians are brothers, There are also murals to anything Serbia around. There's signs up all over the place which say Kosovo is Serbia, and also the occasional name of a war criminal. One of the reasons I was told that the Serbs still do this sort of thing is because they're quite upset that because of the 90s, they are constantly told that they're evil and their country is not worthy and must be put down, in the same way that us in the West are told this sort of thing by the establishment on the basis of you had slavery or the empire, etc. So I can sympathize with some of their resistance, even if the things they're clinging to are a bit strange in some circumstances. Gotta get tea. Got it from a place called Kandahar, which a little bit of a weird thing to name your restaurant afterwards, but I guess they don't know about what happens in Kandahar. You know, this
happens in Kandahar stays in Kandahar.
There is a joke in Afghanistan about Kandahar. I don't know if I told you it before. If a pigeon flies over Kandahar, it covers its asshole with its wings. I did not go. I felt it was not the thing to do.
Did not feel adventurous?
No, we met some people from there and they were a bit friendly.
Too friendly?
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, I'm sure it's lovely. This is Running on Empty Serb Review. You know Review Bra, don't you? Yeah, you should. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
He's a very nice guy.
Okay.
So this is the Serbian Parliament building. This is very nice. It's nice to see some lovely architecture for once in Belgrade. I'm sure there's plenty. I've just been seeing a lot of communist flats around, to be honest. If some of you recognise that, it's probably because you've been playing Half-Life 2. Apparently the devs decided to model the building exactly on the Serbian Parliament. That Serbian-Russian poster saying together is true in more ways than one. Whilst I was in Belgrade, I did see quite a few Z's, either in graffiti or in people's cars, supporting what Russia is up to in Ukraine. And so we decided to also check out a military store nearby to see what a Serbian military store sells. And some unique things, for sure. For example, the patches and whatnot that you would fairly regularly expect, along with Z patches and Z shirts. Quite a few of those. Along with some other shirts, of course, like Serbian Karenja. I'm still going to butcher that, I'm so sorry. There was also some other ones I saw talking about the fact that the wolves are waiting to come back to Kosovo, which, again, the sort of things that I guess Serbs are known for. In case you're a little bit confused about why this sort of thing is more normalised in Serbia than it is in any part of the EU, let's say, well, as mentioned, Serbs and Russians are brothers, and I experienced this quite a few times around in Serbia. Even in the north, when I spoke English, walking into a pub, a lot of people would give you sort of side-eye, wondering what the hell you were doing here, Yankee, until they realise you're not American, and that's quite nice, but still the British are not fairly liked because of the NATO bombing. The NATO bombing of Serbia did definitely seal the alliance between the Russians and Serbians in the modern age. So this is the area that NATO insisted to show everyone that we are a defensive alliance only. Only for defense, never... Yeah. I mean, there are reasons the West is not liked. This is one of them. For Serbia. They decided to keep all of this just to remind everyone, as I said, what happened. And also to hopefully get some money back off us at some point, which probably is going to happen. There's also the fact that, to this day, you can still just get around speaking Russian, it seems. I don't know if this was just me, but I actually found more use in speaking Russian to people than there was in speaking English. And people were much happier to see you if you spoke Russian as well, which is a bonus. Travel tip for you. So, with the taxi and the airport security here, both times didn't speak a word of English to me, so I just started speaking Russian, and they understood Russian and spoke Russian back to me. There we are, travel trip. Just learn Russian. Some people took from the video I made about Serbia a while back that I dislike Serbia, which nothing could be further from the truth. I actually quite like the absolutely chaotic nature of Eastern European people, specifically Serbs and Russians. And you'd have to be inhuman to not understand some of their grievances, as they will put it to you, which is that Kosovo, for example, has the right to self-determination, but Republika Srpska has absolutely no right to self-determination, and must remain within Bosnia and is not allowed to join Serbia. There is also the argument made that, well, what Russia is doing in Ukraine, breaking away states and holding referendums on their right to self-determination in the future, that's abhorrent and disgusting, we are told, and yet at the same time, you have Kosovo, which has never held a referendum, unlike some of those places in Ukraine, and yet we are made to accept this. You can argue about these arguments in the comments if you wish, but my point is not to make them, but instead just to present them as they were presented to me. And so you can understand, at least on a base level, why Serbs feel quite upset with the West. I would love to go back to Serbia, and as I mentioned, check out Kosovo and Republika Srpska as well, and if people like it, make videos about it. This isn't a sequel to the Afghanistan video, in case you were wondering. This is just something I wanted to do for quite a while. If you want to see a sequel to that, I've got something in the works. I guess wait on that. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed, and if you like what I do, subscribe star, etc. That's how I pay for all this. And also, if you want to buy some of the shirts and whatnot, links in the description as always. Bye-bye.